Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Sheila Halpin, and we are at IMG Academy for the International Sport and Social Impact Summit, hosted by the Global Action Initiative. We are meeting leaders from around the world who are going to be learning about leadership skills that they can take back to their countries and their communities. These young people are changing the world, so stay tuned. You want to be a part of this to see how we are combining sports and the change in communities. So stay tuned. Neha, how did you become involved with the International Sport and Social Impact Summit?
So I work with an organization called UA in India, and the education director of my organization informed me that we have such an invitation and we will be happy to send you if you are interested. And I looked through the format and I really got excited, and that's how I got involved.
What were you excited about?
It shows that there will be people from different countries, and it's always a learning experience when you meet people from different countries. So that excited me the most, that okay. And also, like, traveling from India to US is a big thing. It's not a small thing. Like, it's miles away. So that excited me.
I bet. That was a big journey.
Yeah, it was.
What are you learning in these weeks that you're here?
So in the beginning I was kind of quiet, but as the days are moving on, I'm getting more vocal, talking a lot, and trying to know about how I can know people more better. And like lots of things we were already doing that, but doing that in a more good way, more effective way is the thing we are learning, because we are people here from different countries and everyone has a different way to do the things. Some of times we do the same thing but we don't success. But the same thing people are doing differently and they had a great success. So kind of learning different ways of doing the same thing.
Well, and seeing maybe beyond stereotypes.
Yeah, that is also one of the big things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And today is one of those things. We have para-athletes here.
Yeah.
And we're actually sitting in chairs.
Yeah.
So we're actually seeing how maybe somebody with a disability goes through the day.
Yeah, of course.
And what it's like for them. How did you feel when you sat down in the chair?
It was uncomfortable and scary in the beginning, and honestly, if I will say that if someone is disabled in my country, I don't think he will imagine to play basketball. It's like if he will talk to someone that I want to play a basketball, people are going to think that is he mad? What he is talking about.
Well, and what the athletes were sharing is it's not just about the sport, it's about the physicality. It keeps them in shape, it helps them when they are in their chair. So it's much more beyond than just the sport of basketball.
Of course. And it's kind of like learning thing also, that what usually comes in mind when you see a disabled person, that they need help, we need to be much kind for them. But here I'm feeling that they are more empowered than us. I'm feeling like I'm disabled now.
That's right. They're fierce. We're the ones that are incompetent at this point.
Yeah, of course. Because now they have got what they need, and I am feeling I'm disabled, seriously. Because I'm not able to move this chair, I'm not able to make movements, and I'm not able to do anything. I'm so scared.
Now, out of today, what are you going to take back to India? What have you learning about the para-athletes?
Para-athletes, kind of like, I think I'm going to first change my mindset, because honestly, it was also me who was thinking that sports, I don't know how comfortable it will be for the people who are disabled, but here I can see that if they have things to do, if they have facilities, if they have resources, anything is possible.
Isn't that the truth? And you said before that maybe somebody in India would not think about doing basketball. It doesn't have to be basketball. You can take this concept back and integrate it any way you want.
Yeah, and also one of our participant is disabled, but he is able to do anything he wants. That is like live learning example I can share with everyone. Like I can barely think of someone who is disabled in India and even like able to make his earning for himself. But here people are doing everything, like everything, totally everything, not just earning. Like they are playing, they are doing whatever they want. So this is the great thing to share with the people back home about disability, how we see and how we need to change.
I am so glad you made the trip.
I'm so happy that I made it.
Because it's you getting this experience that's going to go back to India and
sure.
unite all of us.
Yeah.
Put us all on the same page. And just like you said so eloquently before, we can all be working in the same direction, but we're doing it a little bit differently. And this is giving us a commonality.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Am I done?
Amanda, where are you from?
I'm from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada, which is right near the Michigan border, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Have you been to the United States before?
I have many times.
Okay, so you're used to us.
Iffy on that one.
How did you get involved with the summit?
I got involved with the summit because I take sport management. Well, I just graduated yesterday, actually.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. From sport management at Brock University in St. Catharines. And we have to do an internship. And I felt that doing an internship in pro sport, which is a lot of what my colleagues do, it wasn't just me, because I felt that I needed to do something in my life that would not make me feel fulfilled, but also help others and make them continue to have healthier, happier lives. So I got a Queen Elizabeth Scholarship, which sent me to an underdeveloped Commonwealth country with the Canadian Commonwealth team. And I got to go to Swaziland, and I helped implement a program called the Leaders in Training, which taught them life skills through sport with a high emphasis on HIV and AIDS, because it is so prevalent there, and it's the highest in the world at 30%.
Wow.
So I got to use sports to teach them about taking care of their bodies and learning about HIV and AIDS, because they're not as educated as you would think, considering it's so prevalent there.
So how did the program work?
The program worked where we would take kids from all different areas of Swaziland, which isn't a large country. It's right located in South Africa, with Mozambique covering the top half. And we would take them from all the different areas, getting about 2, so that they could go to a week. We would take them to a hotel or a hostel, and during the day we would do half sports, half education, and then we would link the sports to the education, so that after they had fun, we'd be like, what did you think you learned? And then see if they got the idea, and if they didn't, we would just teach it. And we had about 2 days of the work on HIV, which I thought was excellent. And it's funny to see how much they can grow in such a short amount of time.
What sport did you use?
We didn't really use sports as much. We would just make up games. A lot of games just use the body or one ball or a couple hula hoops, because they are not as well off as we are. So we could teach them, bringing this back to their rural communities. They could implement this without having to spend a lot of money. So we use a lot of body movement games, or games where you could use rocks, or you would get piles just from sticks, or even we made race games where you just have rocks, and the rocks made your markers or how many times you went around.
Wonderful. So combining the physicality with also the message.
Yeah, and I think even using those, making the props helped educate them as well, because then they could go home and then they would use those ideas in their households as well, sometimes they would tell us.
Right. So it'll go on for generations then.
Well, that's what we're hoping for. It's to hope to create a sustainable lifestyle there.
Now, you're in the United States for this camp, for the summit, for a few weeks now. So what are you learning through this?
what I've learned so far is how diverse all the different cultures are, because I really had only experienced Canadian culture and then South African and Swaziland culture. But here, seeing all the people from all the different cultures is great to get their ideas as well, because they're similar to Canada in Swaziland, and then they're mixtures of it as well. So I've been able to learn how other people are dealing with these issues and what they're using, as it's not like a one-size-fits-all to fix these issues, especially with like social and poverty and that. So getting all these ideas, I think we can go back to our communities and the communities that we visit to build these ideas and create the sustainable life.
And it gives you a greater appreciation for some people that you may come in contact with in Canada and understanding their culture.
Exactly. And like even one of the things we learned was trauma and how to deal with trauma as a coach. And I, at home being a coach for curling, I can like now use that in my own culture, even though I could also use it when I go on my mission trips. So it's stuff that you can use everywhere, which I find is fantastic.
Now today we're sitting in wheelchairs because we
are.
have para-athletes that have come to put on some demonstrations for us, and we're actually participating and playing with them. How did you feel when you got in the wheelchair?
I was a little excited because like I love basketball, but then when I started to move, I was like, whoa, this is going to be way harder than I thought it was. But now that I've been able to like try a little bit, it's fun just seeing everyone smile and us appreciate what we have and how these people, even though they don't have as much as us, or they might be like missing something, they're still living these fulfilling lives and are making the most of it. So I think that's a lesson that we can all take in itself as well.
Well, and seeing beyond the disability, you know, so I think
when you see them, you don't see the chair, you see the person.
Right. Yes. So how are you going to integrate that when you go home?
Well, I think I can use that to hopefully open other people's eyes, especially when working with people that might just be in poverty, because some people look down on them as well, especially in Canada, because we're not used to it. In my city, we're a very small city, so to see that, it's just like they almost ignore it or pretend it doesn't happen, or like we'll just like leave that person do their own thing. But now we can try to implement these programs that can bring them out and let them shine and help them to get what their end goal is going to be, or see if they have something they love and help them use that, especially with sports, because some kids, their parents can't afford to send them, but if they love a sport, we can use that to get them to get out of these social issues, to grow and become what they truly want to be.
Well, and they will become who they want to be because of you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So go and shoot some hoops.
I will. I made one basket, so
Good
I'm happy.
for you.
Thank you.
Good. Carson, thank you for joining me.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Now, where are you from?
I'm from Blacksburg, Virginia, here in the States.
Okay, so you're here for 2 weeks in Florida?
Yes, ma'am. Got almost, I guess, a week down and a week to go, and it's been a great experience so far, and I'm excited for the ending of it.
Now, how did you get involved with the summit?
So when I first went to my college, I went to Virginia Tech originally, and when I got there, I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I'd always had a passion for serving others, and I'd always grown up with a passion playing sports ever since I was a young kid. But I didn't really know that those could come together the way that I've learned that they can. So I didn't know, what path I wanted to go on when I started school, but then I went on a study abroad leadership class with a group of athletes from Virginia Tech, and we went to the Dominican Republic and worked with a grassroots organization there and really learned, how you can use sport to better the communities that you're in. So that really opened doors and opportunities for me that I didn't even realize there were out there. And so since that experience, last year I transferred to a school in Tennessee, and that experience was so meaningful and powerful for me. that I'm hoping to bring the same kind of concept that we did at Virginia Tech to my new school in Tennessee, because they don't necessarily have anything like that there, both to better the communities in the way that we did, and also to try to share with my peers and other people who might have passion for sport and serving others, that there is a way to bring that together and really benefit the world and our communities in a powerful way.
Give me some examples of that. So how when you went to the Dominican, how did you use sports to better the community?
Yeah, so the individuals that were kind of leading it for us, we led the camp first, and we just kind of did a sports camp, just kind of built relationships with the kids, and then they did the second half of the week, because it was a week-long camp, and they would do games where they'd have like 2 soccer balls, or they'd have 1 soccer ball, and a kid would try to chase the kid with a soccer ball, and then some of the kids would get caught, but not very many. Then they'd add another ball, and that would represent sexual partners, and it would represent how like HIV, like the more partners you have, the easier it is to catch a STD like HIV. And so it was just like games like that. Really,
it was an important message.
Yeah, it was an important message, and I would have never realized you could so strongly transmit a message about STD and HIV awareness through a soccer-related game or something like that.
Such a serious message.
Yeah, through a game that everyone enjoyed playing as well. It was a really cool way to tie it together.
That is so exciting. Now, what have you learned in the week that you've participated in the summit here?
I've learned a lot about myself, because we've done a lot of leadership activities and learned about strategies. What I think is the most important and what I've enjoyed the most is just learning about all of the different people here, and from what the countries they come from, their cultures and everything. We've got a lot of people here from Botswana, and I've never interacted and met with a person living in Botswana before, and so it's just been a great experience to just broaden relationships and hear how other people do things. And then also through the sessions, the people that are presenting information, they're leading the fields that they're in, and so just the ideas that they're sharing are really things that in many cases I've never heard before, and I can definitely go back and implement in what I'm trying to do, and or if I'm doing something similar, just kind of improve on what I might be doing.
It's wonderful. Today we're being joined by para-athletes. How did it feel getting in the chair?
A lot of fun, and also a lot of difficult, because this is something that I've never done before. I think, for example, this is a way that sport can really bring together everybody, because there's people here who have different challenges they're facing, yet when we do this, we're all on the same playing field. And so I think this is just another great example of how sport can be used, to bring everybody together, no matter what challenges they may be facing.
I am so glad you came for these 2 weeks, because you're going to change the world for us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Robbie, thank you for taking the time to join me.
Sure.
How did you get involved with the United Nations campaign?
I did this about 2 years ago for my coach, and he wanted me to, I guess, inspire the kids in a different way. I'm always up for events and exhibitions, and I just love doing it. So about 2 years ago.
Okay. And what do you hope to teach the kids?
That life is just about living it. I've been in this chair for about 20 years, and I remember I was that kid that was on the sideline looking at my other friends, and they were very active, and I wanted to be active. So when I got into wheelchair basketball, I wanted to to just feel a part of the my peers and my family and stuff like that. So just teach them that there's always a way. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
So when you first came into your chair, you said you became involved with basketball. What was that transition like?
It was different because I grew up watching like Jordan and LeBron James, everybody on the TV, and I thought wheelchair basketball was kind of crazy at first, but when I finally got used to it, it became something that, I don't know, it just changed my life a lot. It gave me a lot of opportunities to go to college and play in the USA team and stuff like that. So it's a really good experience.
Built your confidence?
Definitely.
And helped to integrate you back out into the community?
Yep, definitely. Yeah, it got me more confident, more eager to inspire others by just telling my story and tell them, about wheelchair basketball and stuff like that.
Now, what's your training schedule like?
Weekdays, I'm mostly in the gym in the morning, and then I go home and study. But whenever I have a chance to get in the basketball court, I'm here for like 2-3 hours, honestly.
That's amazing, and you're fast.
I try to be.
Now, what's the hardest part about wheelchair basketball?
I think falling and getting back up. It's a very hard thing to do because you have to really have a lot of upper body strength to push yourself back up. So that was really difficult for me. And learning the speed of the game. It's a really fast-paced game, so learning the speed is definitely a hard thing as well.
And your endurance is amazing.
Yeah. I call timeout sometimes, get me out of the game, but definitely endurance plays a big key.
So the kids that you're going to be speaking with later today, they're coming from all around the world.
Right.
And so they're going to be learning, as you said, about inspirational stories such as your own,
right.
And they're going to go back to their countries. How does that make you feel in sharing this information?
It's a blessing. I love doing this. I love meeting different people, different religions, different just personalities, and it's awesome that we're spreading wheelchair basketball and adaptive sports like this. It's really amazing.
And it's not only about sports, it's about integration.
Right, definitely. Just giving us our opportunity and give people opportunity to do something different, because I know like a lot of people that have disabilities and are wheelchairs, they don't really know about wheelchair basketball or different adaptive sports and different things that they can go to build their confidence like I did. So it's a really good opportunity.
Now, do you find that you're demystifying it, that sometimes people might see a chair first, but you're taking them beyond that?
Yeah, I mean, that's always the first reaction. They look at the chair first and they judge you for that until they really get to know you. But honestly, I don't really see a chair, so I'm a very open person, very lovable person, so I try to change that perspective.
Well, I see an amazing athlete and an educator and an ambassador, and that's what you're doing. You're changing the world by being here.
Thank you.
So what do you hope that people take away from today?
Just be open for new experiences. I mean, this is a really good sport, a really good thing to do, even if you're not going to do it competitive, just do it for life. I mean, people with spinal bifida like I have, if you get out of shape, it's hard to pick yourself up and put yourself in the car, get into bed, be able to move in different positions. So just all about health and being a more active person.
Yeah. And about teamwork too.
Definitely. This team that I've been on for the last couple of years, they definitely taught me how to be a better person, better teammate as well, because I was very, very selfish, and you know how that is as a young age and stuff like that. So they definitely taught me a lot.
So if anybody wanted to get involved with the sport, what should they do? What are the first steps?
Just be open. And don't look at it as a crazy opportunity like I did. Look at it as a way to change your life, change your personality, change your whole mindset. So I'll see it like that.
And just go out and start.
Right.
Because you don't have to come out and be as proficient as you are, because you are an excellent athlete.
I wouldn't say all that.
Well,
but
I
thank you.
would, but somebody has to start somewhere, right?
Definitely.
So it's okay to join and participate even if you're just learning.
Definitely.
So Robbie, you shared with us that you're in college and education is so important. Tell us a little bit about your educational experiences.
Well, I go to St. Petersburg College, and my major is business, and I'm doing a minor in journalism. So education has always been a big part of just my family and just everybody. They always push me to better my education, because it's better opportunities. Basketball is not going to be here forever, and I definitely want to be successful in a different field and be known for something different besides just basketball.
Excellent. Now, you're on a few leagues. Share with us what that's like.
I play for a championship division in Miami, the Miami Heat Wolves, and I also play for the under-23 USA team. So it's two different leagues, and it's really been good. It keeps me focused, keeps me busy, and I definitely like it a lot.
So how do you fit everything into your busy schedule?
A lot of priorities, just putting my priorities first and put things in order, just get my work done, my homework done first, and hit the basketball court after. And if I have to stay home and do my work all day, then I'll make up for it during the week and weekends, stuff like that. So I definitely make time for it.
Perfect. So it is possible to do it all.
Definitely possible.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Robert, thank you for joining us.
You're very welcome.
You have 2 children that are para-athletes. How proud are you?
Very proud. I'm happy that my kids are not sitting home doing nothing, so very proud.
And to reach the level of athleticism that they have, they must have had a lot of help and encouragement.
Yes, actually, Robbie has always been interested in sports. My daughter, she's actually a girly girl, but the fact that she doesn't like him outdoing her, so the interest came about to her as well. So,
how did you get them involved in athletics when they were younger?
Well, actually, they started out racing. They love racing, and Robbie played in the neighborhood with the young guys. Actually, he had all the balls. He had all the basketball goal, and the footballs. And, you know, I work for the city of St. Petersburg, so I build parks and recreations, build tennis courts, basketball courts, and all such. So I get the balls free, and I bring them home. So since he had all the balls, well, all the kids came to our house. So he learned how to play basketball with the upright, with guys not in wheelchairs, and he gathered from there. And at the age of 15, actually at the age of 13, we found All People Life Center over in Tampa, and off of Sly Avenue, and a star was born.
Now, did you play sports when you were younger?
Yes, I did. I was basketball was my favorite sport. Football, I ran track as well as volleyball. I was a sportsman too.
So he gets that from you.
Of course, he better.
Now, the social integration, you talked about that when he was younger, that he was out in the neighborhood playing with people that weren't in wheelchairs. Why is that important?
It was very important for him because it helped him build character. It helped him believe in himself because he learned to beat guys that was not in wheelchairs in basketball. He learned to shoot very well. He learned to use his chair to get guys out of his way. It was very important because actually we went to a lot of his friends' games. They played basketball, they played football, and Robbie wasn't able to play on the teams, you know, the summer camps and all. So when we found All People Life Center, and he ended up, him and my daughter ended up being around a lot of kids that are the same as they were. It became more natural to him.
For a parent that has a younger child, what would you say to them that may be facing a disability or not being included?
Well, one of the most important thing I would say is that never teach them to say I can't. And that's one of the things that I wouldn't allow Robbie or Valeria to say I can't. And they had to do it until they could. So that's very important.
And not only in athletics, but also in academics.
Exactly. Academics, the way of life in general, you know. Robbie has a saying. He would always say when he was little, don't look at my chair, look at me. Meaning that, the chair, a lot of people feel sorry for kids when they see him disabled that way. He's not disabled. Actually we are.
He has more abilities and athleticism than anybody on this court right now. It is amazing to see him out there. His speed, I was talking about his endurance, his upper body strength. It's amazing.
Yes, he started out lifting weights, and he decided that weights was detrimental. It had him stiff. So everything is freelance. He uses his body as his weight to build his muscles.
And he was saying that helps him with everyday life skills too, getting in and out of the chair.
Yes, it does. My daughter, I'm skipping because she doesn't have the muscles that he has, but she's just as strong. So yes, they do a lot of up and backs. That means up and down the court with their wheelchairs, building their muscles and stuff. And we do bike riding. They both have bikes, and so do I. And we do a lot of bike riding to build the strength, to keep the strength going.
Now, both of your children are ambassadors today. They're going to be speaking to children from all over and young adults from all over the world with the UN and promoting social equality for families or people that happen to be in wheelchairs. How's that make you feel?
That makes me feel great, but I'm a little afraid for my daughter because she's not much of a speaker. She's more of a listener.
She'll show them on the court.
Well, actually, she will. She will. They will see the real her on the court.
And that's what they're going to take back to their countries.
That's great. We was here last year. Unfortunately, my daughter wasn't able to make it, so she's here today, and I hope she really loves it.
And I think it's so important because in third world countries, a lot of times women aren't respected as much. And so not only is she bringing the female perspective, she's also bringing seeing beyond the chair.
That's right. Exactly. My daughter, she's a girly girl. And she loves her makeup, her fingernails, the hairdo. But when she gets on the court, she becomes a little monster.
She's fierce. She's fierce.
Yes.
Well, they did not get to this point in their careers academically and athletically without having parents that support him and families that support them. So thank you, because you're the example for the rest of us.
Well, I'd like to apologize for my wife not being here. Unfortunately, she's working today. But other than that, we follow them everywhere. We encourage them to do whatever they mind, whatever they decide to do. We encourage them.
You're an inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you.
You are fierce on the court.
Thank you.
How did you get involved with sports?
Well, my brother, he started off, young as me, and I just wanted to try it, as a hobby. I didn't really get into it, like something that I love. So it was like that.
So because of his interest, you kind of thought, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite sport that you do? Because your dad was sharing that you do quite a few things.
Well, I was in basketball. That was the main thing I was really into, and I did other few sports, but it wasn't really like a big thing, So basketball was the only thing I was doing.
What does basketball give you? What are you getting out of playing the sport?
I guess it's just fun to do when I'm not, doing nothing else. But
does it keep you healthy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially with when you have spina bifida, like me and my brother, it keeps our body flowing and stuff like that, and we have scoliosis, so it keeps it straight.
That's great. That it keeps not only your mind but your body healthy for everyday skills too, everyday life skills.
Mm-hmm.
So when you became involved with the UN and coming here today and speaking to the kids, how did that make you feel?
I guess excited because I never did anything like this before, so. yeah, made me feel excited.
And do you think your story is inspirational?
Mm-hmm.
What's inspirational about it?
Well, other kids, they don't know, what we go through on a daily basis. So it's good to, teach them so they can know, how we move around and how we do things, in our lives. So, yeah.
And what I think is even more special about you is not only are you bringing the athletics to it, you're also bringing the female perspective to it.
Yeah.
So the kids that you're meeting with today will actually be going back to their countries and sharing what they're seeing and what you're doing. How's that make you feel?
Good.
So what's your next step? So you're involved with basketball, you're a role model. What about what's your next career move?
Well, I'm basically into photography and fashion and stuff like that. So that's the main thing I'm focused on.
Well, I'm sure whichever avenue you go down, you are going to be a success and definitely a role model.
Thank you.
So what would you say to any child at home that's watching your story and hearing you? What words do you have for them?
Just to keep doing what you're doing and don't give up and don't tell nobody. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't, do anything, because you can.
That's right. Put your mind to it,
Yep.
your heart. What about your family? Supportive?
Yeah, very supportive.
So any words of encouragement, or what did mom or dad used to say to you to get you motivated?
Well, how me and my brother's situation is, they always just tell us, don't let anybody, tell you that you can't do this and can't do that, because you can. And, we've been in the wheelchair since we was little, so, we move around like anybody else can. We just in a wheelchair, so. Yeah.
So the wheelchair does not define you?
Not at all.
Very cool. Thank you for taking the time. Now you're going to go out there and you're going to teach them how to do it, right?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to be watching.
Okay.
Thank you. Erica, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Where are you from?
I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
How did you get involved with the UN Summit?
I am a graduate student at Brock University in Niagara Falls, about 20 minutes outside, and so part of my research involves children with disabilities, and I've been involved in sport for development basically since the inauguration of my post-secondary career. So my master's supervisor, Dr. James Mandigo, was very instrumental in helping me find this program, and he actually recommended that I apply and to use my experience as both a graduate student and an educator, and to come here and do some learning with a variety of different people.
Now, what are you learning these 2 weeks?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if we can actually sum up in one word what we're learning, but it's a lot of professional development, I would say, and a lot of personal development, in that you are taking your prior knowledge of what you've had experience with and applying it in different contexts. And I think those contexts come from a cultural standpoint. They come from being able to develop your leadership skills and teamwork. That was really the focus of our first couple days. But we've also, like today, we've experienced different abilities and how we can change our perception of individuals with disabilities, and how we can improve their own their own physical activity experience, in an environment such as this. And I know we're very fortunate to be on a campus that has a lot of access to facilities, but some people don't come from backgrounds where there's a lot of money in physical activities. So it's good that we can interact with them. We are able to challenge ourselves and put ourselves in a chair and test our limits that way.
Well, and changing paradigms of people, because in other countries, they may not have accessibility like we do.
Absolutely. And I think that's where my experience comes from, is that I'm trying to create an environment in that we focus on those abilities as opposed to, well, we're stuck. We can't do anything. We don't have the money. We don't have the facility. Our first day, actually, our facilitators, Viv and Sue, created a ball out of plastic bags. And I think that speaks wonders to what you can do with anything around the house. So you don't need to have state-of-the-art facilities. You don't have to have, somebody kind of going to bat for you, because you are the one that's going to be going to bat for yourself.
And thinking about things differently, creatively.
Oh, for sure. As an educator, you always need to be aware of who your students are. And I've had tons of experience in that, but now you need to use that and actually apply it. And I think that's the piece that's going to be probably the most difficult for myself. I can only speak for myself, but picking up those things and how am I going to be innovative? I've done up to this level. Now I need to push those limits and go beyond, and to ultimately make the change that I want to see.
What has resonated most with you? So what are you going to take back, the one thing that you think you are going to be able to integrate?
That's an excellent question, and I've thought a lot about it, even in conversations with my peers. I think I'm going to have to be selfish at this point. I think a lot of what I can take back is personal confidence. I feel that I exude myself as somebody who is confident, but there's a lot of doubt. I have a lot of doubt. And I think putting myself out there and knowing what those leadership qualities are and what I can offer, but also knowing that it's okay to step back and let others shine. And other people are going to have much more stronger abilities than me in certain aspects. And I'm going to have, I'm going to bring something else different to the table. But I think applying that into my own specific context will be that challenge. And I think that's what resonates the most, because I'm influencing a variety of individuals. I work with high school students, I work with children with disabilities, I work with adults with disabilities, and I think being able to take all that learning and put it into that one word, which I still haven't found just yet, is something that I'm going to take back.
So today we were joined by some para-athletes. How did that affect you actually getting to participate with them?
You know what, this is one of the things that I was really looking forward to. I come from a background where I'm actually a coach for individuals with disabilities. I coach a swim program, and I do have experience coaching wheelchair basketball, which is fantastic, as well as bocce for quadriplegics back at my home university. So coming in, I wasn't nervous by any means. I had that nervous excitement that I was really excited to participate and to meet different athletes that at least have some similar commonalities between the athletes that I coach at home. But I think being able to be more competitive, as a coach, you kind of step back and you let your athletes, you see what your athletes are doing, but to be involved and to work with the peers that I have here in this program was something that is I believe to be very rewarding, because you get to see how you can put yourself in a coaching position, even though you're going to be that athlete on the court. I was very thrilled to have the opportunity to have two different groups, and those smaller group environments are great to learn those skills. I could have done this all day. I would have loved to stay here all day.
How did it feel with the role reversal, taking yourself out of the coaching position?
I was a swimmer myself. I swam varsity, so I do have the relationship between being a coach and an athlete. In this particular setting, it is different, because you are now working, you're not the individual working for somebody, you are now working as a group. And I think, like I've mentioned before, with finding those different abilities and finding ways to connect with them, because there's so much that you need to think about, especially in a sport such as wheelchair basketball. You're looking for that next play, you're looking for the pass that's coming back. Okay, there's a turnover, now you have to get back. You know what, I think the important thing is to take every opportunity and leave it where it is. So we've had a very positive experience. I don't think anyone can come out of this saying that they don't feel good about themselves. I think everyone was very welcoming, and I do like that role reversal. I think as a student and then coming into a teaching role is something similar, where I have those experiences that I know what works for me and I know what's going to work for students. So keeping that at the back of my mind and always improving and learning, and I think that constant learning is what's going to make that great coach greater, or that better athlete better.
And just taking people from where they are and starting all at their level, and seeing beyond the chair, beyond the disability.
Absolutely. And a lot of times we tend to think that we are teaching to that middle child, not the individual who is less skilled, not the athlete who is extremely, competent in their ability. It's getting to know who every individual athlete is. And yes, it does seem, it seems tedious. It seems that it's going to be exhausting. It's a very lengthy process. But if you're not able to do that, you're not going to have a successful program. You're not going to be that successful influence for your athletes, for your participants. And that applies to any situation, not just athletics, but education, how you interact with your family, with your friends, in a work environment, for example.
Well, we are so glad that you took the time to join us. We appreciate it, and we know that you're going to go back to Canada and make a huge impact on all those families and children.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure to meet you. Thanks.
Fran, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, happy to have you with us here at the Global Action United Nations Summit on Sport and Social Change.
Now tell me a little bit about that. What is that?
It is the first millennial generation project that really focuses at the intersection of sport and social impact and development. So it really brings young people, leaders from countries all around the world together to learn from experts, athletes, Olympians, Paralympians, nonprofit leaders on different ways that different sports can be an implement or a catalyst for change.
And how did it come about?
It came about because Mr. Wilfred Lemke, who is the Secretariat for the United Nations Office on Sport for Development and Peace, really wanted to have his office move beyond just providing advice on the power of sport and really to create partners who could deliver some actionable projects where we teach the next generation how to drive change.
And how did you get involved?
I've had the fortune through my Global Action Initiatives company and my work as a lawyer working with athletes and celebrities on their philanthropic endeavors to really have great relationships with a lot of the entities at the United Nations. So when Mr. Lemke and his office was looking for a U.S.-based partner, they approached me. We had a lot of discussions about what this could be and how the platform could really deliver life skills that could be life-changing and connect generations of young people together. I was sold.
Now, what is the concept? What did you bring to the table?
The concept was to really look beyond just sport for sport's sake, but to understand its power as a communication platform and what its role could be in helping the next generation participate in delivering the sustainable development goals. So in our inaugural year, the 32 participants from countries mostly in Latin America and the Caribbean came together, drafted the first declaration of principles for their generation that chose 10 social causes that they felt sport could help be a catalyst to change. So they created the strategies and the tactics. We developed it in sort of a Magna Carta type declaration document, and last year at the International Sport for Social Change Day at the United Nations, presented it.
Wow. Now, where do we go from here? What's the next step?
The next step is for all of the young leaders who are participating to take what they've learned back into their community, whether it's new strategies on empowering women and girls, which we worked with a couple of days ago, or how to translate your skills to become an entrepreneur, or what we're doing here today with the Tampa Bay Strong Dogs on inclusion, and really start working with their communities and implementing these new strategies so that more people can feel the power of sport.
And then are they followed as this progression goes on?
Yes, we ask their nominators, whether it's their country, their university, or a nonprofit leadership in their home countries, to give us updates, but we also ask for our young leaders to tell us about their progress, to send us their videos, their updates on their social media, to let us know what change they're making, because the idea is to ignite a movement with them as the fuel.
Now, are more children and young adults coming back again next year?
Well, last year we had the first session where we brought some young leaders who had participated in our inaugural year and ran 2 different tracks, masters and bachelors, so first-timers with some who had been here before. But I think what we'd like to do is to try to give more and more young leaders the opportunity, so we're going to be expanding our numbers rather than bringing back those alum who've already participated.
Now, what have you been most amazed about for the last few years being involved with this?
What I am most amazed at is what these young people have already accomplished in their short lives. Last year we had a young fellow from an island country who at age 18 started and created a hotline for young people who had been trafficked in his country, which was absolutely amazing. There's stories of what they've overcome, how they've escaped from gangs, drug cartels, and at the intersection of all of that success has been some nonprofit who enticed them and motivated them through sport.
Now, when your professional life, and then you have this is another piece of your professional life, how do you balance it all?
It's not easy, but if you can have your avocation as your vocation, then I think you've found your true calling.
Well, you are changing lives. Everyone that is here has been amazing, and you can see that they're going to go out and change the world.
I hope so. That's one small piece. If one person can do something from this program, then it will have been a success.
Well, thank you so much. You're to be commended.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Allie, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, how did you get involved with the UN Summit?
So during my undergraduate career at Drew University, I did a semester with the United Nations where every Tuesday and Thursday we would go into New York City and go into the United Nations headquarters and listen to speeches from a bunch of different United Nations employees and people of all different levels in the different parts of the organization. So that's how I really became interested in it. And I played soccer for school, so when my coach heard about this, she thought it would be perfect.
So what are you learning for the 2 weeks that you're involved with this?
So it's a lot of different leadership skills we've been learning about how to more effectively communicate with players, peers, coaches, mentors. And we're just hoping that we can take these valuable skills and go back home and implement what we've learned.
And how are you going to integrate it into what you do?
So the first thing I'll start by sharing all of this information with my coaches and teammates. Then, of course, my family and friends, because they've already been asking me about what I've been doing all day. But I'm attending graduate school at Georgetown in the fall, so I'm hoping that through the connections I've made with all the great people here that I can become involved in some new organizations and hopefully just continue the same work that we've all been doing.
And what are you going to be studying?
Conflict resolution for a master's program.
So this is perfect.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So we're working with Paralympians or athletes today. How is that going?
I really like it so far. I really respect what they do because it's really hard. It just really shows that we really are all equals and athletes, and it's just incredible.
How did you feel when you first got into the chair?
I felt very uncoordinated and very unathletic, but to see them move around the way they do and how talented they are is really inspiring.
So what are you going to take from this, working with people with disabilities or seeing them in a different light?
Yeah, so I've already done a decent amount of work with people with all kinds of disabilities, which is really cool. So today was one of the features I was most excited about during the program. But I think it just shows that just because you have a disability doesn't mean you're at a disadvantage.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. We can't wait to see you out on the court.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Andrew, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now, how did you get involved with the UN Summit?
So I was actually involved last year. I was a participant last year, and it was through the NCAA that I was able to come through. My University of Notre Dame was invited through that and thought it was a great opportunity and just kind of went with it and wanted to experience everything that this camp had to offer.
And what are you hoping to gain from this?
So last year I gained a very holistic view on life from all the different cultures that were represented. And this year I'm really hoping to further that, but to also now kind of hone in on the skills that I need to improve on. So one, that would be, what can I do that is creative and different and thinking outside the box and be able to work under any circumstances. So if something isn't going according to plan, you have to be adaptable and be able to change and be ready for that. So I think there's many great facilitators that are inspiring, and we're learning so many different skills and even different than last year. So it's been pretty incredible.
Well, even learning to adapt, that's what we're doing with the wheelchair basketball.
Exactly. And I think that's just a very important skill that you need for life.
Now, how did you feel when you first got into the chair?
It's different, just because you're not able to use your legs, obviously, and you don't have as much control. So it takes a little bit to get used to how to push the chair and how to maneuver it. But after a little bit, you start feeling a little more comfortable.
And like you said, learning to adapt.
Exactly.
Now, what are you studying at Notre Dame?
I'm studying finance, and then I've taken some classes in entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship, and just learning kind of the creativity, innovation behind business, but then also the very status quo and concrete details. So it's been a great mix.
So where do you think you're going to go from here?
Not sure. I have started a nonprofit called One Shirt, One Body, and I would love to get into that after I graduate, but if that is not possible, then probably consulting.
Now, what is One Shirt, One Body?
So One Shirt, One Body is an organization I started last year after this camp where we collect...
So it inspired you to begin it?
Yes, this camp did. And we collect university-issued apparel, the shirts, and we donate them to low-income, high-risk youth within the university, or within the community of the university. And the shirt is almost a platform for student-athletes to share their stories and inspire others, just how this camp does, and you talk to other individuals. So it's more than just a shirt. It's to show these kids that there is hope and that you can make it and be successful. And our mission is to encourage the pursuit of higher education through these stories of the student-athletes.
So the athletes go out and actually speak to the neighborhood children?
So we have them go to a middle school in their community and then speak to those kids more on an intimate level. So not a big assembly. It's 2 to 3 kids with one student athlete, and then really sharing personal experiences and stories and just success that they've had and how they reached their goals.
And how's the program going?
It's gone really well. We have 6 conferences, 6 Division I conferences aboard that have partnered with One Shirt, One Body. And now we're just working on creating a curriculum that makes a really deep impact and can really inspire these kids to pursue education. So a lot of logistics right now, but it's still young and we're still growing, so it's been a really fun process.
That's phenomenal. I am so proud of you for doing that.
Thank you.
Because you came and were involved in this last year and inspired you to go back into your own community.
Exactly. Just hearing all the stories and what people are doing in their communities and how much they're making a change really inspires you to want to make a change in your community and do whatever is possible. And I had this idea before, but it really inspired me to pursue that idea and to take action.
Now, what do the athletes get out of it? Have they shared anything with you?
So athletes really find it powerful because growing up, any athletes had someone take the time to coach them along, just both athletically and personally. So it's like it's pay it forward, you know. So they're giving back because they were given too, and they're going to be a part of that child's life forever. Even though if they don't stay connected, that child is going to remember that experience, that student athlete talking to them and telling them that they believe in them. Just to tell a child that they're believed in, maybe they don't hear that all the time. So that can be very impactful, and those athletes know that they're going to be with them for the rest of their lives some way or another.
So that framework, once you have that fully established, are you hoping to maybe expand that to other colleges?
Yes, so just really need to focus though on creating a very easy and impactful curriculum that is very easy for the university to just take on and go right at it away. So they don't have to do a lot of planning.
Well, I'm glad I got to meet you now because I'm sure I'm going to be reading about you in the future.
Thank you very much.
Phenomenal. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
We met some wonderful people today that are going to be changing the world. I am so excited to see what these young people do in their communities and around the world, making changes that are going to be impacting generations. Robbie, thank you so much for being here. You are an inspiration. This was a wonderful event, and we had a great time, and we look forward to seeing what these young people accomplish in their lives to make the world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Tampa Bay Strong Dogs. Hoo, hoo, hoo.